Doomsday 3.
We're in Doomsday 1. He came from one of the toughest areas of the nation. All his country.
You got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass to the ball. You better get to the ball.
I just got to say, when it comes to former Dallas Cowboys, well,
For sure, they would have thrown it off because
And then I go to bed every night like, hey, man, I promise you that. What is up, Cowboys Nation? You see, I'm in parts unknown, everything else that goes with it. But hey, I appreciate you guys joining in. We're a little remote, but we're going to be kicking it a little later than our normal time. But I appreciate you guys, checking in. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share. I see people hopping into the chat, man. I appreciate it. Welcome everybody. And Jimmy, how are you doing, my man? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Hey, Steve, Doug, what's up? Vince, Cuts, what's going on? Had to take care of some family business last week. I know some people heard about that. And, it's it. Then I got caught up on a lot of the free agent stuff and a lot of the football moves. And, so that's what's going on.
Well, at least you got something to celebrate. I mean, you guys are making some moves. My Cowboys, I just saw our running back situation is now solved. We got Rico Dowdle. We're bringing him back. We got the hammer back. So I guess all is great in Cowboys Nation, right? You guys feeling good. But you guys got to be pumped. You get yourself a quarterback. You got Kirk Cousins coming in. Question is, you see Justin Fields get traded for a bag of potato chips. I mean, do you have any, why wouldn't we have maybe gone after Fields and you had that 1 year to kind of see what he's about, younger guy? Or do you think, hey, with the division you're in, the opportunity you have, now you bring in probably Kirk Cousins is going to be the best quarterback in that division, trying your best chance to win now? Well, what's your thoughts when you see all this stuff breaking down?
Well, you know what it is. We'll go back a couple weeks. I said Justin Fields at that point was my number one. And I said Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, interchangeable at that point. But, from what I've read in a couple places, I guess the Bears thought that they were going to get more out of that trade. And they waited, and all of a sudden we signed Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson goes to the Steelers. And then guess what? I mean, Justin Fields goes to the Steelers. So for nothing. But I think that what they did was I think the Bears waited too long. They thought there was more capital that they can get for Justin Fields. And honestly, I'm shocked they didn't get more for him. I think they just waited too long.
I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, well, man, if that's what it was about, maybe the Cowboys could have gotten the mix because, you don't know what's going on, with our quarterback. I mean, you got Dak Prescott there, still no deal. They freed up a little bit of money. They wait till free agency is pretty much over to free up a little bit more money. You got LVE is retiring, right?
He's definitely retiring?
Yeah, he retired today.
Oh God.
He retired today, which, hey, you're talking neck injuries. I'm not messing with that stuff, man. There is no way that I'm going to be dealing with any kind of neck injury. He's got the money. He's got it. And that's just another reason why I say this is why these guys got to cash in. This is why you got to take care of free agency and maximize your earning potential so you can't go. But what is your thoughts as not a Cowboy fan? I mean, I just want to put you're an outsider. You're part of the outsiders. You see what's going on where no activity in free agency. There's a lot of upset Cowboy fans. Do you feel their anguish, or some of it can be say, you know what? Let some of these other guys go. Fine. We're going to try and build through the draft like they always do. But why didn't they make any just, strategisk moves? No,
you know what? If I'd be pissed if I was a Cowboys fan, not finding a running back. My opinion, that would have been you lost Pollard, obviously. And I know you guys last year, you said Pollard's a great running back, but you needed that 1-2 punch and you guys talked about it, but at least get a top tier running back. And I'd be a little pissed if I was a Cowboys fan, just because you didn't take care of that business, that little piece you needed to. So that's what I listened a little bit yesterday morning, and a lot of Cowboys fans are talking about, we're going to boycott. We're not going to go. We're going to, not get season tickets, or we're going to, blah, blah, blah. you know what? If people are that pissed, I agree with what you said.
That's what I was gonna say. Is what do you think about a walkout in the
Yes.
middle of the game? You walk. Everyone, we get up, we walk out of the stadium. My man Cuts has already said he's got the pit ready. We're gonna be making some. You're gonna be twerking for chicken legs. You know, the ladies can be twerking like they did the last Cowboys tailgate party. And we stage a walkout. If you're that upset about it, if you feel that strongly about it, maybe that's something that they do.
That, you know what? Because that makes a statement. Imagine, everybody, Cowboys have a huge fan base. There's a lot of other people watching. The haters are watching. And you put something like that out where you see a mass exodus, maybe in the middle of the first quarter or something like that. And that's going to show up not only on the TV, organically, but it's going to, people like Stephen A. Smith, all these other people are going to be showing it. That is going to go viral, and that's going to be embarrassing.
No, it'd be embarrassing. So I say that's the option. I got to give a quick shout out, everyone in the chat, of course. But my daughter, who has been in Italy, I haven't been able to see her. She was on a school trip. She's in Detroit, God help her, at the airport, hoping to fly back home to Tampa. And she's checking out the game. I haven't seen her, and look at me, I'm away working, so I'm going to miss her when she gets home tonight at midnight. So definitely got to show some love to my daughter Eva, who's checking out the cave. So definitely got to give her some love, and she had a great time.
When I saw Eva up there, I was hoping she was still in Italy. Perché voglio parlare italiano? She's in Detroit, so I ain't talking.
All she knows is grazie, and ciao. I think those are her.
Grazie, e ciao. Hey,
But,
dove zio Cheech adesso? Where's zio Cheech?
And I got to correct. Doug is absolutely right. There was twerking at the Cowboys Cave tailgate party. There's also fights, not in ours. Let's make it clear. When the Cowboys Cave tailgate party, it was a love fest. But we left to go to the game. We come back. Some people infiltrated our area, which we told them they could. And they had the music there. They had like a 10-piece orchestra just jamming some good music and stuff. And then fights broke out as we were trying to pack up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If we stage this walkout, then I think it could be a lot of fun. I think we can make a lot of fun with it. So
no, it would. That would. I'm telling you, that would send a message, because if things don't go as well as you want, and again, we've always talked about this. You go into the new season, you should go in optimistic. You shouldn't go in, oh, well, we're going to lose. You get some people who are pissed off. And you should go in optimistic, but to make a statement.
Here's the thing, Jimmy, with the way that let's lay the land of where we're at. How can, I know Law, my man, Law Nation, excellent, obviously content creator, one of the best, and, one of the godfathers, Cowboys Nation. He had posed a question. Do you think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs? The Cowboys are going to make the playoffs this year. It's a quarterback-driven league. People can say what the hell they want about Dak Prescott or whatever. He's still one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC, and I think the Falcons are going to see that with Kirk Cousins. Yes. The Falcons are going to make the playoffs because Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC, and you got the weapons, and it's a quarterback-driven league. Now, the question is, what do you do in the playoffs? What are the Cowboys going to do in the playoffs? But I'm saying is you can't define the team in March, the 18th. Correct. Let's let the draft play out. Let's let everything else play out, and let's see what happens in August. Let's look at the team in August and see what we got to work with.
No, and I agree with you. And, I'm going to take a look at us, like you said, and then we'll get back to the Cowboys in a second. First of all, I see some of the nice notes in the comment, and I really, really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And, you guys just being here tonight and hanging out at the cave, is, making me chill out a little bit and have some fun, get my mind off things. So I appreciate it. But that being said, talking about the Falcons, we got Kirk Cousins, we got, we already know we have the running, but we have Bijan and we have Tyler Algier, a good 1-2 punch. Darnell Mooney, we picked up opposite Drake London. I mean, we made moves, right? We re-signed Nate Lamont. So the whole point is we made moves. We brought some new guys in. So that makes me happy. We got somebody opposite Drake London. So we have a second receiver, legitimate, at least a competent second receiver, right? So, and then, like I said, the Cowboy, yes, if you guys go into the season, even if you're kicking ass, I mean, in games 1 or 2, I'm doing the walkout. I'm making the statement. Jerry Jones is going to be embarrassed. And you have to think about things for the future, him and his son.
And I don't want Cowboys Nation, I don't want you to think about it. just do it.
Do it.
Right?
Exactly. I mean, especially you get a grassroots effort like here on the Cave and a lot of the other content.
It's what I say. Let people, because here's the thing I said, Jimmy, and you've experienced it, and you're going to experience it this year, because we're going to be in the ATL, and I've already I don't know if people want to do it. I've offered up the cabin. We can do a Cowboys Cave up in the cabin. It's only about an hour and a half, hour 45 from Atlanta. We go up there the night before, have a little party, have a little fest, little tailgating, and then head down and watch the Cowboys whoop that ass, of course. But, I love going to the games. I mean, I don't want to not go to the games. I do not want to see my friends and see the fam. So I think it's, I don't want to give that up. But if people want to send a message, I'm all for it. I'm a team player. If Cowboys Nation feels strong about it and they want to send a message to Jerry and the ownership that, hey, enough's enough, stage a walkout. Be like 90210, man. Donna Martin graduates. You know how that goes. You get up in the middle of class and you walk out. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, it's funny now, Steve, I got to be honest with you. I've been, a little bit off the radar. I have not read anywhere, unless that just happened, that Gallup went to the ATL.
I know he visited with Carolina. I have not. Is this official? Because I have not seen it either. Steve, breaking news in the Cave.
This might be breaking. I didn't see anything on my phone.
I don't see anything. Yet. I'm looking on the line on NFL.
You know what? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. The Cave, we're always breaking things. You
got to have more than one source. We need to have. What is it? How many sources do you need to make things official? Because that's what we need to do. If that's what's going to happen.
Cuts. Watch me walk out and be the only one. Oh God,
that would be the only problem, man. That's
right.
That's what I'm afraid of. It's almost like Jimmy. I don't know. I don't think you were there. So let's talk about it. This is the thing that you can do. I'm just looking real quick. I do not see that he signed. So I'm going to say that we cannot say that he's on Atlanta.
And Steve, I take it.
When I was in 17, it was a couple weeks before my 18th birthday, my buddy and I decided we're going to run on the field of the Marlins. I had a big Marlin fish hat, and we're going to run through the outfield, and we're going to create a distraction. And so for 5 innings, we're sitting there. We waited about the 3rd inning, and for 3 or 4 innings, we're arguing who's going to jump first. No, if I jump, you're not going to go, and you're going to leave me hanging. And we argued back and forth, and then finally, I don't know what happened. Both of us just jumped out of there. We ran out, and the crowd was going crazy. It was the first year the Marlins were there, so it was sell out. They were playing the Mets, and it was a lot of fun. So that's what I say is when you stage a walkout, the hardest part is who's going to be the first one to stand up, walk out, and will everyone follow? I mean, that's what you got to know. Who's going to follow? And it's going to be an awkward feeling if my man Cuts gets up and walks out to the pit, and he's cooking it up, and he's looking around. There ain't no one to cook for, no one to hang out with.
Well, remember Revenge of the Nerds? Or no, it was Animal House. I, for one, am not going to sit here bad mouth the United States of America, and they all walk out. But you're right. That would be the crummy part if only Cuts walks out and nobody's behind him.
Yeah. So let's talk about the NFC, because we're an NFC-driven show. Obviously with the Cowboys, and of course my man with the Falcons. So you see the moves that are made. Let's talk about the NFC East. You got the Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders. They made a bunch of moves, a bunch of Cowboy cast-offs they went ahead and got.
Yes.
The Giants lose Barkley. The Eagles pick up Barkley. The Eagles go out and get a backup quarterback. They get Pickett. They got Devin White from Tampa. So they were making some moves. The Giants made some moves. The Washington Commanders, I keep saying it, made some moves. What's your thoughts of how that NFC East stacks up? Dallas won it last year. Do you think, right now you're going to have to flip a few teams around, or what's your thoughts?
No, I mean, Swift went to
and
the
in
Bears.
The chat too. What do you guys are thinking? Swift left, but they get Barkley.
Right, they get Barkley. But you know what? I mean, look, right now Dallas doesn't have. I mean, you got Rico, but at the end of the day, you don't know how that's going to look. I still think that you're looking at Dallas in front of that division. The Giants are soul searching. I mean, they're going nowhere. Washington, I don't know, man. whatever they do, they
They
seem to be.
overpaid for
Yes.
some guys, I think.
Yes, exactly. And Philly, I mean, you see what happens to them every, they're gonna they lose 9 in a row at the end of last year, 8 in a row, something like that.
The thing I
So
would say though, you got to give them credit for trying. Like the thing I'd say with Philly is, they picked up Barkley. Barkley, I mean, yeah, he hasn't really done anything to. I don't think he's ever beaten the Cowboys when it's been the Giants, but he's still a top running back
He
when
is.
healthy. So and Devin White, he's a little reckless in Tampa, right? They were down on him in Tampa, but he's still a lot of talent that if they rein that in and he's in the right system, he can do it. They got their guy back from Detroit that they let go. That's the funniest thing is I think they're going to miss Kelsey a lot too. We'll get into that, but the thing I love about the Eagles fans, got to give them credit, very passionate fans. They shit talked Barkley for all these years. They shit talked Kellen Moore for all these years. When I can't think it was CJ. I forgot the guy the guy that left Philly, went to Detroit. Now he's back. They trashed him out the door about he was a bum over, not worth the money. This now they're all coming back. It's like these guys are the best players and best coaches they've ever had before. So it's just I love Philly fans. They make me laugh, but I think Kelsey, to Cut's point, like I did talk about Sunday, I agree. I think that's going to be they're going to miss him very dearly on that offensive line.
Yeah, the funny part is, and this is by coincidence, I'm wearing my Philly Times Rocky Balboa versus Thunder Lips.
I got that shirt.
Yes. Yeah, about a year ago, it didn't fit me. It's fitting again, so that's good. But now, you know what, though? I'm shocked that, let's say, Dallas didn't go after Barkley. Right?
But you had, and here's the thing is you had running backs, and I'm not saying they shouldn't draft one. What I was saying is I wanted to go in with a veteran, someone that you can hang your hat on. Yeah, he's been there, done that. You're not asking him to be the 2,000-yard back that Henry was years ago. You're not asking what you want to. You feel something you can hang your hat on and feel better. And they've done nothing. They did nothing with it, and they let. I mean, those guys go. They let the second-tier guys go. Like A.J. Dillon was kind of talked about. And then when you see these running backs are signing for peanuts. The third receiver for Buffalo that signed a contract was bigger than a top running back free agent contract and Barkley got. So I don't know. I just it surprised me that they didn't make a move at running back. They did get Kendricks. I thought that was a solid move for them.
Smart move.
But then, Donnell Hunter was a Zimmer guy. So you see some familiarity, like with Quinn getting some guys. They got Bobby Wagner, another linebacker that played under Quinn. So I would have thought, well, maybe Dallas will get a few guys, but they couldn't do anything because they didn't have any money. They didn't work any cap, which leads you to believe with Dak Prescott, maybe Dak is on his last year. And my thought, if that's the case, then I would have tried to move him, even though he has a no trade clause. Just try and talk to him and see if there's somebody he would approve to. But if they don't re-sign him and they have him going into his last year, I mean, do you think he's going to re-sign? I mean, I just think you're setting yourself up for just a funky year for the Cowboys.
Well, and you know what? I'm looking. Is this Ultra with a different name?
Yeah, that's our man Ultra.
Ultra, what's up?
He goes incognito every now and then, man. But I appreciate it because that's a different subscriber. That helps.
Exactly.
I want everyone in the chat right now, create 3 different YouTube accounts to help us add more subscribers. It helps. You're sympathetic to the cause. But Ultra, you can't look. Ultra and I are in a love-hate relationship. That's the way we've always been. I love him, but sometimes he hates me. I never really hate him, but sometimes I got to give him tough love. But I can't argue with his point. Lamar has never done nothing in the playoffs. Dak has not been successful in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins has not been successful in the playoffs. So they have to prove it in the playoffs. And that's why I say, people say, do you think Dallas's record is going to be better or worse? I don't care. All I care about is when they get in the playoffs, are they going to win? That's the measure. It's like they can go undefeated or they can be 8 and 9 in a play and make it in the playoffs as a 7th seed and make it to the championship game or the Super Bowl. I mean, it doesn't. Everything matters, and Lamar's on that same thing. Kirk Cousins is on that same thing, and Dak. They're 3 peas in a pod.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Here's the thing with Dak Prescott. If things don't – you guys are going to make the playoffs. I think you come out of the division. You win the division, in my opinion.
Especially with 7 teams making it.
Exactly right. So you have if things don't go right in the playoffs, then you're screwed because
Yeah.
he's just going to walk. He's going to sign elsewhere. He's going to be pissed, at that point, that's just fact of life, So that's the
Jesus? Oh, Jesus.
yes, yeah, that's right. But so that's kind of my thing. It's a little bit risky. You're risking him walking at the end of the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Aaron Jones, that would have been I would have been happy with that pick, and you still would have drafted a guy. You still would have, because the Falcons see it, all these teams see it. You got Bijan Robinson, but you're still running two backs. That's just what the
of
league is
course.
today.
Tyler Algier the year before was 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
So that's great. You have a 1-2 punch, and that's just the way the league is. But like you said, we've talked about this for the last 2 seasons right here, that the running backs anymore, they're fluid, man. You're seeing guys move. Look at Eckler. All these guys.
He signed in Washington for nothing. That's why.
Right.
So I don't you look at the philosophy built through the draft, Dallas has put together, and that's where it's hard for me to rip Jerry from a personnel level, because they've put a team on that's talented to go to the Super Bowl. They've won 12 games in 3 straight years. Not many teams do that. They've got talent at pretty much all levels. You're going to have some weak spots, but that kind of goes with it. You got to work around it. But they've put together a winning team, and nothing is happening. It's like I talked about on Sunday, or one of my things is, maybe some fresh faces is needed. You let these guys go. Maybe you bring in some young guys who don't know better, that are hungry, that just want to win and tear someone's head off. Maybe that's not the worst thing. So that's what I'm saying is I'm not throwing the flag in. And I know a lot of Cowboys Nation and a lot of content creators and a lot of this, they're just so negative on the Cowboys, and I get it, but I am not going to concede anything in March. Not going to happen.
No, you can't do that again, because it gets back to then what? Why bother? Right? If you're going to concede in March, then why bother? But I guess we'll see what happens. But it is a concern. It's funny that they weren't more active, especially with all the running back movement and all the available running backs that, like you said, some of them were signing, relatively speaking, for peanuts.
Yeah.
Then you look at, and I know we're sticking to NFC, but then you look at Pittsburgh, and they got 2 of the big name quarterbacks.
Right? They changed their whole quarterback room.
Right. So Pickett's off to the Eagles, right? So now we have, and in my opinion, I think Justin Fields right now might be the understudy for Russell Wilson. Kind of like Aaron Rodgers was with Brett Favre, back in 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Now, do you think Russell Wilson's going to start, right? He's going to be their starter.
Yes.
Do you think Russell Wilson finishes as a starter, or do you think Fields will take over by the middle of the season?
No, I think Fields takes over. I think if you put Russell Wilson in our offense with the weapons we have, then maybe it's a different story. But I don't know. I think you look at 9-10 games and things aren't going well for Pittsburgh. They're going to put Fields in there.
Yeah. No, I think Fields is going to finish. Their schedule, they had a pretty light schedule this past season. This next season, I think they had them early on as one of the tougher schedules in the NFL. So it's going to be a little bit harder for them. Of course, you got Baltimore's there. They're going to be good. Burrow. People forget Cincinnati. You're going to get Burrow back. They didn't have him this year, and they say Watson, but he hasn't really done anything. So I don't know what I'm going to put a whole lot of faith into that. But then you look at the draft class, and you look at quarterback. I think what you're going to see over the next 3 years, really, or maybe even less, is really a changing of the guard at the quarterback position. You've got a lot of quarterbacks coming out in the draft now. You could have 4, you could have possibly 5 quarterbacks getting drafted in the first round. So what is that going to do to the landscape of the NFL as well? You're bringing in and you see a lot of these guys that have kind of come and gone in the 2021 draft. They were talking about in the 2022 draft. A lot of these quarterbacks are already gone. You got a class of quarterbacks coming in this year. That's, like you said, it could be 5, maybe even 6 quarterbacks in the first round if you really want to stretch it.
And you know what? Remember, I don't know much about college, but I've heard, we've talked about it here. I listen because I don't know what I'm talking about. But if I'm like the Falcons with Kirk Cousins, I get one of these quarterbacks in the first round. We don't need to address anything else right now. I mean, I know you've always said, and I would normally agree with you, you get the best athlete, the best player, the person with the best, between the ears, the best, football IQ, if you will. But I think that in our situation where Kirk Cousins, I remember he's put up numbers like crazy the last 6 years. I know obviously he's coming off injury, but I get a quarterback and then you have somebody learning under him for 2 years, 2 or 3 seasons. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping Fontenot does in the draft.
Well, that's a luxury that you guys have, having a high draft pick and going out and solidifying your quarterback position, is you have that where you can bring a guy in and not put a lot of pressure. Quarterback success a lot of times with these rookies, look at the situations they've been in. Yeah. And you take a Fields, and Fields was in just turmoil in Chicago. I mean, how many different coaches and coordinators did he have to go through? You don't know if he's going to be able to recover from that. But then you look at C.J. Stroud. He went in to Houston. Yeah, they were a bad team, but they got a really good head coach in D'Amico Ryans, who was a great coordinator for the 49ers, was a really good football player, played, linebacker. I believe it was middle linebacker. So, I mean, he's got a high IQ, played at Alabama. I mean, he's a hell of a football player. And then you bring in some key guys, great, offensive coordinator, and you bring key guys around him to give him the best opportunity for success, some stability. And that's really what the Falcons can offer a quarterback is You're not going in under pressure. I mean, you got a really good owner that supports his team. You're bringing in a new coach. Hopefully it's a guy that can bring some good culture and stability to him, some consistency and continuity. And you've got a young receiver, you got a young running back, you got a young tight end, someone he can work from. So, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that at all if they drafted a quarterback early.
And you know what? Getting back to Doug's point earlier, if they were talking about Dak Prescott, if you don't resign, you don't want to get in cap hell like we did with Matty Ice, right? Yeah. It took us 2+ seasons to kind of stumble out of that. And we just kind of started recovering, right? We would have done better if we had a real quarterback last year. I mean, look, that was a disaster at quarterback position last year. And Ritter's out in Phoenix now, or out in Arizona now. I think we're going to re-sign Heineke, whatever. Yeah. But I don't care. I want, like you said, I want to draft a quarterback in the first round, one of these, big name quarterbacks you guys are talking about, and have him as the understudy. Like you said, we got the luxury to do it.
Yeah. And the thing is with Dak, you can't go in with fear. You can't go in with fear and say, oh, well, we got to resign with this huge deal. Otherwise, what are we going to do without him? And believe me, I like Dak Prescott. I mean, I would be very happy if they resign. I think he gives us best opportunity to win a Super Bowl right now, today. But if it's not, and this is his last year, you've got some dead money next year. It is what it is. I mean, every team kind of has to deal with it. More than likely, if that were to happen, you're going to go out and either Trey Lance, you're going to kind of give him one deal and give him a kind of a year to prove it. Your cap number for your quarterback is going to be high, but you're just going to have to bite the bullet. I mean, the Broncos are doing it now. Some teams you just got to kind of do it, but I don't want to live in fear. If they don't believe in Dak Prescott, if they don't believe that he's the guy that can lead this team to a Super Bowl championship, then you move on. And, it sucks because, like I said, quarterbacks, it's very difficult to find quarterbacks. I mean, it's easy for us all to say, just draft some quarterback jobs. And I think you should draft a quarterback every year. I think every team should. But you got to just be prepared that you might run into some tough times, but you just hope that the pieces you have around it will give some stability to that quarterback to put him in a position to be successful.
Well, and it gets back to also, we've talked about culture, right? Now, one thing I'll say about the Falcon, as much as we've had bad seasons, this and that, it starts from the owner. We have a pretty solid culture. And that's one thing about Raheem Morris. Wasn't the sexy pick for head coach, but he does, he's been talking about culture every time they've been interviewing him, right? All the, on the Falcons things, he's talking about culture. And I'm glad he's talking about that, because we've said it a bunch here, about the Cowboys, and part of the deal is culture. We talked about hungry. Like Eugene said, right? I mean, I said it before. We have linebacker Nate Landman. You guys probably never heard him, but he's the hungriest guy on D. Not the best on D, but that man is hungry. He's in every play. I mean, you can't, if you watch the Falcons consistently, he's in every damn defensive play, right? So, and that's what I want. I want hungry players. I want culture, and that's what I'm looking for. And, you get a guy like Kirk Cousins, he's a veteran, right? And hopefully surrounding him with these weapons, maybe he does make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Kareem's not a big fan of the golf. He said he's going to slap the Fisher in the face.
Man, sounds kind of violent. I wouldn't want to watch a game.
Do you think the Cowboys are retooling or rebuilding? I don't think it's. I don't believe in rebuilds anymore. I just don't think it's. I don't think the way the NFL is set up, it is. I don't think you're rebuilding. If you want to call it retooling, I think what you've got. It's the example I give is Tyron Smith. I love Tyron Smith. I mean, he's going to be a Cowboy. He's one of the top 5, top 6 offensive linemen in Cowboys history. And that's saying a lot because the Cowboys got a rich history of offensive linemen. But he's been hurt. He's been hurt for 5 or 6 years. And I've had to listen to Cowboy fans just get rid of him. Get rid. He's always hurt. They make fun of him every year. He's going to be hurt. He's going to be out. And then he leaves, and then it's like everyone's crying. Everyone's like, "Oh, what are we going to do without him?" It's like, you guys are bitching for 5 years. I've heard about you trash this guy, and all of a sudden you love him to death. I think they've got to move on from certain things. It's like I said, what have they won with them? And I get it. You can't change. I mean, CD, you're not going to get rid of. He's one of the top receivers. Micah Parsons, Diggs. There's a lot of talent around here. Your upper talent guys, you're not going to change those. So you're going to have to change some other things. You can't pay, Biotish the money that Washington was going to give because, I mean, it wasn't worth it. I mean, everyone was bashing him. So, it's just one of those things. But I think maybe retooling, if you want to use that, okay, retooling, reloading. I just don't know if teams really rebuild anymore because you see teams that go from 4-12 or 4-13 now, and then the next year they're in the playoffs and they're fighting for a Super Bowl.
I don't want them to change. I like who they are. No, you know what? Let me look at Detroit right off the Cincinnati a couple years ago. So you know what? Right. If you look at Major League Baseball, the NHL, NBA, you can rebuild those leagues. You rebuild. That doesn't happen in the NFL anymore. It doesn't work like that. So yeah. I agree with you on that point. There's no true rebuilds. You got teams that suck every year, right? For extended periods, but there's no rebuilding.
No. I think you just got to get in the playoffs and anything can happen. It's been proven. But hey, real quick, just want to give some love, man. Appreciate everyone. I'm seeing like 160 people between all our platforms watching us live, man. We love it. Make sure if you're not flipped over to YouTube, get over to YouTube, hit that subscribe, hit that like. We've got obviously the live show special time today. We got a live show Thursday talking a lot of Cowboys. We got a special guest that's going to be coming in, tearing it up. She's a huge Instagram content creator, huge Cowboys fan. So I'm looking forward to her coming in, talking some Cowboys. And then in a couple of weeks, we got our man Crawford Kerr, offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. He was in the Landry era in about 84, 85, and then he zipped through to the Jimmy Johnson era. Has some funny stories, has a different view of Jimmy Johnson a little bit than some others because he was the older player that Jimmy Johnson was kind of, hey, we got to move on from some of those guys. So he has some really funny stories. Loves Jimmy Johnson, though, and what he did with the Cowboys, but it's just a different perspective. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, he follows the Cowboys. He follows the current NFL. So he's got a lot to talk about with the current Cowboys team and also some of the culture and, that buzzword that goes around. So make sure you guys, if you hadn't subscribed, like and share and all that BS, man, do your boys a favor, man. We're trying to bring it.
And you know what? Like Mike Tag said, go find, not on RedTube. You find us on YouTube and you subscribe.
Thank you, Jimmy, for God's sake.
So yeah, now look at Steve Brady. They should have never let the Eagles, and it's a catch-22, and especially, and we've seen it. Me being a Yankees fan, we signed A-Rod to prevent Boston from signing him. Right? I know this is years ago, but I don't know, man. I'm not big on. Look, we're going to sign him just to avoid our division rival signing.
He's got to fit in your system, right?
Right.
I mean, NFL is a little bit different than like a baseball or something like that. I mean, the player, the linebacker, the DN, the D tackle, they got to fit into your system. and the system that Mike Zimmer runs. And maybe there wasn't a fit for it. Maybe they were too cheap. I don't know, but I mean, I would never want them to sign someone to avoid another team from signing, because that would, you're not doing yourselves any favors. And he's been in Tampa. He's underachieved in Tampa. That's why Tampa let him go. But maybe he finds his way in Philly and gets things going. You'll see what happens. Now, you're just saying that. You're just saying that. We'll see what happens with Devin White. Yeah, about $1 for every one of these free agent guys that they said is going to be the stud, and ends up being a bust, and ends up being a disappointment to some of these teams. We'll see what happens.
It's all posturing.
It is. It is. Tampa Bay couldn't wait to get rid of him. What does that tell you? Tampa Bay couldn't wait to get rid of him.
And Tampa Bay, back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago when we were talking about quarterbacks, and my team, who is in desperate need of a quarterback, Baker Mayfield cashed in, right? They gave him a few bucks, and he deserved it. I mean, he fit into that system they had. He played well, and I hate using that field manager or whatever, but you know what? He kept his mistakes to a minimum and played in the system.
No, absolutely. And hey, people watching us on Instagram, flip over to YouTube, because I see a lot of people comment. A lot of people, we can't see it. That's the one thing that YouTube does. It stops us on the Instagram feeds. I can't see it. So I kind of like just poking my head into Instagram, and I see some comments and see some stuff, and I can't respond to it. We can't respond to it on there. So, man, that's another reason why just when our show's on, flip it over to YouTube, and then you can always flip back to Instagram later if you want.
Like on the jerky, but I can't see so good. It's funny, and I do want to talk about one thing that's it's related to the free agency. So there's talk that there might be some sort of thing where they're investigating the Eagles and the Falcons for tampering, with jumping in before the free agent, before you're able to talk to the free agents and all this, and specifically in our case, Kirk Cousins. But you know what, man? I'm sick and tired of hearing this crap, because the games they play with the salary cap and that sort of thing where they're talking to guys before the free agency period open, that happens everywhere and all the time, and I don't want to hear any different.
No, I didn't hear about that. That's breaking news for me. I've been working all day, so I didn't see that. But that's ridiculous. And, these guys with social media platforms and everything that's going on, if these guys want to sign somewhere, they sign somewhere. Minnesota wasn't. I mean, it was reported so many times Minnesota wasn't going to pay him. It wasn't going to re-sign him. It wasn't no big surprise.
And they're looking at trading Justin Jefferson. Those are the rumors that's out there right now, I mean,
did White win the Super Bowl? So White was the reason they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I thought it was maybe Tom Brady. I didn't know Devin White was the reason that the Buccaneers
could be Tom Brady.
The Super Bowl.
But you know what? I wanted to say one thing. So when I was, I know
I like Devin White. Sorry, I like that LSU guy. I like Devin White. I'm just saying I'm not going to sign him to a contract just because another team was going to sign him. So.
But you know what it is. When I was taking care of family business down south last week, I happened to have a family member who lives near Calvin Ridley's immediate family.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get. Well, this was what I was told before the signing period started. There was a brand new Maybach out front and a Lambo SUV. And I saw him last week when I was down there, and I said, that's interesting. So he didn't know that all of a sudden there might be some big bucks in the future, that he's out there buying these fat cars for the family.
He signed a big contract too.
Yes.
$50 million guaranteed.
Right. But these were in the driveway before the free agency period. I mean, so I don't want to hear that crap, because everybody does it. It's nonsense.
It's all BS. It's all posturing. We don't need none of that. I saw Chase, my man Chase Young. Chase Young signed with the Saints today. 1 year, $13 million. That's not that's in your division. That's not a bad pickup for them. Not a bad pickup for them. The Panthers, they didn't get. I was checking to see who they signed lately. They lost their big defensive guy. So you guys, your division, the South should be. I mean, that should be yours for the taking. I'd have to say
it is.
It's pretty disappointing if you
don't
get them.
Right. No, I agree with you. I mean, there should be no reason, barring injuries. I mean, barring injuries to Kirk Cousins coming back from an Achilles. That's my main concern. No reason we're not taking the division. But, it's amazing, too. Look at how many guys nowadays are signing 1-year contracts. That
Yeah.
wasn't something you saw in the years past. You see a lot of 1-year contracts. Dozens of them.
It's getting more and more common. Let me give my man Steve. I wanted the Cowboys to sign Denzel Perryman. Now, if you know about that, you know what I'm talking about, Steve. That's what I wanted to see the Cowboys sign. I was disappointed they didn't sign Perryman because that's our problem. It's not these guys. We need guys from the U on this team. But the thing that I'm seeing with free agency and really with the and I might be going out on a limb, so to reel me back in, all you guys, if you think I'm getting a little crazy. I think you're getting to a point very soon where some of these NFL teams, they're going to draft their guys, and after 4 to 5 years, 5 years for your first round, 4 years for your rookies, they're just going to let them go. They're going to let them go and not pay them. They're not going to do big contracts. And then they're going to fill in these teams with these 1-year deals with some of these veterans, because you're just kind of seeing it where it's becoming the haves and the have-nots so much in the NFL. And you get guys that, you look at Justin Simmons. He still doesn't have a job. I mean, he was one of the top safeties in the NFL. Got to sign a huge deal. He's probably going to sign a 1-year deal somewhere, prove-it deal. And I think you're going to start seeing that more and more and more and more. So it's going to be interesting. I want us to draft Cam. My son wants us to draft Cam. We need some guys from the U on this team. And I don't know, my son swears the Cowboys need safety help. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but he wants to get Williams or Cam. He said we need to get some ball hawks in here. So
yeah, and it's fun. I love EJ and Cuts talking about the ATL. We're going to take care of our business. You're making me feel a lot better tonight. I appreciate that. Money bags.
I tell you what, that has to be the smartest guy in the NFL. You know how much guaranteed money he's gotten in his career? I mean, it is insane, the money, because he did the franchise, 2 or 3 straight years with Washington.
Yep. And
then he signed that 3-year, 90-something million, all guaranteed with Minnesota. And then he got and then he gets a contract here. I mean, that dude you can't hate him. And can't hate the player, hate the game.
Right, exactly. You know what? Like you said, cash in now, because you don't know when it ends. And in his case, he's got plenty to give to his kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. But, I mean, he's been putting up 4,000 plus with Washington, with Minnesota, and hopefully next season. I mean, the only season he didn't do was when he got cut short with the Achilles last year.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's rivaling Big Lou status. You know what I'm talking about with that, Jimmy?
Yes.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here. I mean, Kirk Cousins is on another level. So, but anyway, so what else is happening, Jimmy D?
Nah, man. I mean, like I said, I just the free agent thing. I can't get over the running back movement, and it's how in the last few seasons, and we talked about it last season, and it seems even more prevalent this season that the running back movement is running backs anymore dime a dozen. That's why I'm shocked Dallas doesn't have one.
I would not want to be a running back coming up in college or in high school. That's not the position that I'd be playing. I mean, they are not getting paid, and they're just getting thrown out. Use them and abuse them and move on to the next. So Dak about to do the same. What's the same? What's the same going to be? There's old Mike Kelly Kane.
Kelly.
Is Kelly getting any oh, that's he's talking about our tailgate. They had a full, listen to what I'm telling you. You don't believe me. A full orchestra. They had the big, the bass.
Mariachi.
The stand-up bass. The
Mariachi.
Yeah, whatever it was. I don't know all the instruments, but the thing was rocking. And we were going to do that tailgate. We're going to get this thing going. We had girls. I'm telling you, they were on tables twerking for some Cuts' chicken. You know what I'm talking about? This chicken that was sitting under the car for 4.5 hours while we were at the game. They still wanted that chicken. You understand that? I mean, it was crazy.
Well, I was going to make a bad joke about chicken, but we won't talk about that. It must have been dollar bills flying all over the place at that tailgate. But I'm sure, we're talking about what's that,
Jimmy?
I was going to say, we're going to make sure everybody talking before about fight. There ain't going to be no fights because at the cave, at the tailgate, we're going to make sure everything is safe and secure.
It's we're family. We're family friendly. That's
Exactly.
what we are. You know,
With the girls dancing.
you bring the kids, you have the good time. Just after the game, it's going to be a little bit different. I can't, I didn't, but see, that was the first time I tailgated at Dallas, and I did not realize, usually a tailgate, you go into the game. Most of the people that tailgate there, because it's very limited to how they let you tailgate, most of the people stay outside the whole time. So they're getting sauced up just even more because they're not paying $20 for a beer. I mean, they got coolers and everything there. So they're just getting annihilated. And then you come out of the game and everything's going on. And the worst part about it was when we were there, it was Cowboy fans fighting Cowboy fans. It wasn't like we're beating up on the Jets fans or we're beating each other up. So it really made for a wild time, but it's definitely memorable. Definitely memorable.
So wait, are you telling me that people would stay outside the whole time?
Yes.
And just watch the game on TV out front?
But the thing is, I'm telling you, and Kelly will tell you, you have like this 8, maybe 10 foot wide, let's say, space. And the people were next to us. They said, "Hey, do you mind? We'll get a little bit more room. You guys are going to sure." There was 100+ people in that space. Where they all came from, I don't know. I think that people during the game, more people come to the tailgate to hang out because I mean it was like not ever seen before. Usually, like I said, when we go to Miami, you tailgate, you go into the game, you come back out, the tailgates are all pretty much broken down and empty and whatever. There, it is still rocking. So that's what I'm saying. If we do a walkout, if we staged a walkout, I mean, you're having a party there. I mean, we have people with the TVs. You're catching the game. We're not missing nothing. We're just sending a message to Jerry, an embarrassing message that he's going to have to answer to and live with because being talked about on the news pretty much all week about it.
And Kelly, I appreciate that, bro. And you know what, Mike? To your point, you go outside. You got to have some smarts. You're gonna go out and get some cheap beer. Yeah. Have the walkout. Go get some cheap beer, right? So now imagine like Kelly and myself out there just tailgating throughout the whole game. That might be kind of ugly by the end of it.
Wow, things can get ugly. We got to make sure we got Mark. He's chief of security. He's got everything taken care of. So we'll make sure we got all the right people there.
Cuts.
Cuts said that I didn't, just for the record. I don't want no one getting mad at.
Yeah, exactly. It's all fun. It's all fun.
No,
Steve,
but
what's up?
It's a lot of fun, man. It's good. And this is getting going. So now football season, we're getting there. So again, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, share. If you're watching us on Instagram, you're watching us on YouTube, just flip over to on Twitter, flip over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, man. It don't hurt. We've got a lot of giveaways. The biggest giveaway is 5,000 subscribers. Going to be giving away 2 tickets. You may not want them, but you get 2 tickets, club level, my seats to the Cowboys game. You could take me. Maybe you take Jimmy. You could take Kelly. You want to take Cuts. You want to take Doug. You want to take Mark. You want to take Steven. You can take whoever the hell you want, or you tell us all to go to hell and take who you want to the game and have a good time. But that's what we're doing when we hit 5,000 subscribers. So we got some work to do, but judging from all the people that are watching on all different platforms, all it takes is if you guys get your lazy ass over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, man. Do your boys a solid. We appreciate it. So
you know what?
Anyway.
We're gaining on them. That's what you need to do. I'm telling you. Please, we really appreciate it. It's so much fun each week hanging out with everybody. And you know what? Hey, by the way, if you the 5,000 subscriber when you get the Mike Tag seats, make sure it's not the game with the walkout.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that would be bad. We won't do that.
Thanks,
we won't
Jamie.
do that for you, but we'll make it a good time. So, what else are we missing, Jimmy? Anything else going on in the world today that we need to touch base on?
I mean, talk a little about this Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight at AT&T in July. Did you hear about that?
And my son, because I am a club seats, and I appreciate give a shout out to Jamie there, Jamie Wiggins, for subscribing. I love it. Any new people in the chat, definitely let us know. We always love to see all the new people that we got tuning into the channel. But I heard my son wants to go. He's like, hey, Dad, man, you get advanced tickets. Maybe we can go to the. I said, here's the deal. If it's a real fight, I would consider it. But I don't know if it's going to be a real fight. And then I heard that they're going to be wearing 18-ounce gloves, which are, that's like what we used to do when we were little kids, and possibly headgear. Possibly
that's no.
And I would say to Jamie, 58, go watch the video of Mike Tyson working out, and you tell me that he wouldn't do a variety of damage to Jake Paul. I don't care how old he is. He's a professional fighter, and I just don't see how he'd survive.
I don't know, man. Mike Tyson's over the hill, and Jake Paul, he hasn't fought anybody.
That's exactly. He's still got it. Did you guys watch?
He does have it
when they laid him out.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Are you serious? They might have headgear on because that's
what I heard. If anyone wants to confirm that, my dad told me that. He said that there could be fighting with 18-ounce gloves. He read and possibly headgear. That if you're doing that, it'd be very hard for Mike Tyson to knock him out. 18-ounce gloves that'd be a pretty tough thing to do. And if you got headgear, you might as well forget about it. So if they do that, it's a sham, and I'm not going to pay my money. But this is what they do. They put it on. They put it out on social media so people talk about it on their shows like we are, and that's the way they can capitalize on some advertising. But it should. I mean, I would love to see a real legit. Now he fought Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson did a few years ago, but it was an exhibition. There was love taps. It wasn't really like Mike Tyson had a chance to really get him good, and he didn't. So I don't know how it's going to be. Let's see. What did Jamie say? I'm sorry.
No, I got you. They came out and said they weren't going to do that. If they do that, it is a scam.
No, I hope it's true. I hope that is true, that they came out and they're not going to do that, because that would be a sham. So hopefully that is true. I'm just saying. I was just saying that's what the rumors are. Of course, you're going to get a lot of these rumors and a lot of things flying around. People are going to be saying some weird stuff. But I think I would be shocked only because it's at AT&T Stadium. It's going to be a big event. I can't see people paying money and everything to go to this just to see him wear headgear and 18-ounce gloves. So.
The deal's got a point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. The deal. I mean, that I don't know. I would not want to go in the ring with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is like our childhood, and I still have just visions of the damage that he did, and just he was a bad man. And he's still. I know he's older now, but yeah, he still got it. He may only be able to go maybe a round, and then he's going to be gassed out. I don't know, but within that one round, he could. I mean, he could still bring it, man. I wouldn't want to find out.
A variety of damage. I wonder how much Netflix paid for that, because I don't know if anybody knows, but that's the thing. If they paid that kind of money, and then all of a sudden, headgear and all this.
Oh, they know. It's all. That's why I'm saying I'd be shocked if it was, because Netflix they paid a very big price for that. They're going to be showing it on it. It's a huge thing for them. So I would be floored if that was the case. I think there's just a lot of things that are just going to come out, rumors, but I would which fight? Oh, the fight of that was a bad time with Holyfield and Tyson. It was entertaining though, but boxing's not what it was, in the earlier days and in the 80s, and I would even say into some of the 90s. I don't think boxing is it's lost its way a little bit.
Well, and I remember growing up, you were you were the biggest in the box, and you knew all about it, right? Yeah. And so you know better than me and most of the people and most of our friends that, even from an outside, like somebody who really wasn't into it as much, except for the big fights, it's I don't know. You think the UFC has taken over that space? I
think UFC's taken over a lot of it. I think, I think that's been a big part of it. It's really big in Europe, and it's big, in other parts of the world. Boxing's still there, but in the United States, it's just the heavier weights are, playing basketball or UFC or football or something like that. The division boxing was always driven a lot in the years by the heavyweights, whether it be obviously Ali, and you had Larry Holmes, and you had Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and you had that identity, and it was always there, and it just kind of started to go away. You just did, Klitschko's, they were champions for God knows how long. They never fought nobody, and it was just different. It's changed. It's changed a lot. You don't have Rocky Balboa in there, Clubber Lang,
right.
I mean, you don't got the Russian. I mean, you don't have all the things that you had
Rocky.
before. You had Hagler and Hearns and all them. The trilogy of fights, you just don't have that much anymore. So anyway,
when I was younger, and Riddick Bowe, remember Riddick Bowe?
Riddick Bowe.
That guy, he would just talk shit. He was just funny. I remember he was before he went pro. He was in the Olympics, and he was boxing, and he was boxing the guy, but he was looking at the ring next to him, watching the other fight. At an Olympic. And he was a good trash talker, but he didn't.
Yeah, and the Olympics, they don't have much boxing. The American boxing isn't as dominant like it was in those times where usually your best fighters coming up were all in the Olympics. You'd see them all. So anyway,
well, you know what it is. It's funny, like you said, a lot of boxing. You see some of these boxers from like Russia and Eastern Europe. They got these foreheads sticking out like it's different. Yeah, in America, we're not. You don't have in the Olympics. You don't see us putting out boxers like we did back in the day.
Yeah,
I don't. You would know better than me.
No, absolutely. Sorry, I just texting.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
But yeah, no, it'd be different. But anyway, it'll be fun. It's going to be entertaining if it's there. So anyway, let's see what happens. But yeah, so we're up against it. Your boy's in the hotel. I'm in the hotel. I don't know how this thing's going. So I got to figure some stuff. You got to do a little work. I got to do a little work, Jimmy. You know how that goes.
Exactly.
So,
you gotta pay the bills.
So,
pay the rent.
The last thing on hockey for our Dallas fans, did you see the Mike Modano statue that they built outside of American Airlines Arena?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. All right. It's supposed to be beautiful. I saw pictures of it, but I obviously hadn't seen it in person. But I thought it was really, really well done. And I forgot they won the cup. I think it went 99.
99. Yes, they
99.
beat Buffalo.
Yeah. So that was a big thing in Dallas. And then they were talking about the Kyrie Irving shot that he made, game-winning shot.
Oh,
it was,
so sick.
They said it was one of the best shots and game-winning shots in the history of NBA.
When he keeps his head on straight, he's a damn good player. When he keeps his head on straight, talking about the Stars. I mean, the Stars they're in a fight with Winnipeg, and for the division, they're a good team. They're going deep in the playoffs. And he's a Kyrie Irving. Man, you get him playing, you get him focused and not being stupid. I mean, but Dallas, they're struggling. The Mavericks are struggling to make the playoffs.
It just seems like even though they got the talent, it still seems that way.
They're going to be in that play-in at this rate unless they start winning a few games.
Well, everyone makes the playoffs there, so we'll see what happens. So.
Yeah.
All right, man. But we got to get rolling. Yes. It's been a fun time again. Make sure if you guys are still hanging with us, I still see a few hundred people hanging with us. Hit that subscribe, like, share. Move over to YouTube and just hit that subscribe and leave a comment. Leave a comment. Say, hey, man, I subscribed. And we got a lot of things to hook you guys up with. We definitely appreciate the love. And, again, we'll be live on Thursday. I'll be back in the cave, back at home, and we'll get it going. Jimmy, what's up?
No, I just want to say, and when I'm done, you can, do the outro. Again, I'm. You guys are the best. I love Mike Tag. Kelly loves coming out here and hanging with the crew in the cave. You guys are the best. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you, being out here tonight and get my mind off things. I'm gonna get, we don't get serious, but I'm gonna get. Look, friends, family you love. You don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know what next week brings. So make the most of it. And the second thing I'll say, and Mike, knows a lot more. I obviously talked to him a lot about this. If you don't have, or your parents or family members don't have their medical wishes in writing, get it done soon. Don't get put in a spot where other people are having to make that choice, or you're having to make that choice for them. So that's all I'm saying. But again, thanks for helping me get my mind off things tonight and have some fun.
No, we appreciate it. And you're 100% right, Jimmy. I got nothing else to say, but we love you and glad you're back, hanging in the cave, and can't wait to do this again next week when I'm back at home at a regular time. So make sure you guys check it out. Appreciate it. Hit that subscribe, like, share one more time. Let us know. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.